Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. Now, a quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Now, the news info. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has called on Nigerians to protect the nation's democratic gains, deepen national unity, and work collectively towards lasting peace and prosperity. In his Democratic Day nationwide broadcast, the president reaffirmed his administration's commitment to security, economic reforms, and inclusive development. Kikelomo Okere has the details.
27 years after Nigeria's return to democratic rule, President Bola Tinubu described June 12 as a symbol of nation's collective struggle for freedom, justice, and representative governance. The president charged citizens, democratic institutions, and stakeholders to remain steadfast in defending democracy and strengthening public confidence in the electoral process. He specifically called on the Independent National Electoral Commission, security agencies, and political parties to ensure credible, peaceful, and transparent governorship election in Ekiti and Osun states. The president also urged the National Assembly, judiciary, media, and civil society organizations to continue playing their constitutional roles, stressing that constructive criticism remains vital to democratic growth.
Our democracy is not perfect, but it is ours, and we must continue to defend and strengthen it. In the coming days, Ekiti and Osun states will hold elections. I urge INEC, security agencies, and all parties to ensure these polls are peaceful and credible. Democracy fails when citizens doubt the process. To our National Assembly, judiciary, the press, and civil society, you are the guardrails of our republic.
Addressing Nigerian youth, the president challenged them to embrace innovation, enterprise, and civic participation, describing them as the driving force behind the nation's future. On security, President Tinubu acknowledged the pain caused by recent attacks and kidnapping in parts of the country, but maintained that significant progress has been recorded in the fight against terrorism and violent crime. According to him, terror-related deaths have dropped significantly, while thousands of terrorists have been neutralized and many others surrendered through ongoing radicalization programs. The president warns criminals, bandits, and kidnappers to lay down their arms or face decisive action from the government.
To our young people, Nigeria is your home and your future. Build here, code here, work here, and vote here. Every great nation was built by those who stayed to solve problems.
The president further paid tribute to the heroes of June 12 struggle, including late Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola. Kikelomo Okere, Global TV News.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has given a direct appeal to Nigerian youths to remain in the country and contribute to its development, telling them that Nigeria's future belongs to those who stay to solve its problems rather than those who chose to leave. The bill comes against the backdrop of sustained Japa immigration trends that have seen large numbers of young skilled Nigerians, particularly in technology, healthcare, and academia, relocate abroad in search of better economic prospects. Tinubu said Nigeria's democratic dividend must now translate into tangible economic outcomes for its citizens, particularly the youth. The Senate has passed for second reading two key bills seeking to increase the number of judges in the Federal High Court and the Court of Appeal as part of effort to straighten the administration of justice and accelerate the dispensation of cases across the country. The proposed legislation seeks to raise the number of judges of the Federal High Court from 70 to 90, while the number of judges of the Court of Appeal would increase from 70 to 110. National Assembly correspondent Anete Patrick tells us more.
Amid growing concerns over persistent insecurity across the country, Representative Gumi stressed the need for urgent and decisive measures to tackle banditry, kidnapping and other criminal activities threatening lives and livelihoods.
In order to fasten quick dispensation of justice and bring justice to the doorsteps of the citizenry, there is a need to support this bill that seeks to increase the number of judges in the Federal High Court for quick dispensation.
Most especially, Mr. President, going by the amendment of the Electoral Act has given the Court of Appeal original jurisdictions on some electoral matters. Hence, the need to increase the number of justices of the Court of Appeal.
Several members called for greater investment in security technology, the establishment of state police, and a review of policies that could help curb criminal activities. Lawmakers also demanded more transparency in the procurement process for military equipment and weapons.
It is a known fact that no democracy can thrive where citizens and institutions are unable to obtain prompt judicial determination of disputes. As such, it is imperative that the justice sector is well equipped with both human and material resources.
For the way and manner in which they have responded to the need for expeditious dispensation of justice in our country. And of course, I believe strongly that the decision we have taken today, when it goes through the necessary public hearing, will help to decongest the courts and will also help the common man and the rest of us here to have justice quicker and faster, because they say justice delayed is justice denied. Both bills are hereby referred to the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters to report back to the Senate in 4 weeks.
Following deliberations and amendments to the motion, the House resolved to invite the nation's security chiefs and the Minister of Finance to a closed-door session to provide details on the disbursement of funds and procurement processes for security operations.
Over now to Bayelsa State lawmaker Fred Agbidi has emerged a new minority leader of the House of Representatives. The Speaker Tajuddin Abbas announced the new principal officers moments after settling down for the day's business. Also announced Bauchi State member Masur Manu as the chief whip, while Abdul Samad Dasuki from Sokoto State emerged the deputy minority leader. Fred Agbidi is from the Samuni Turaki-led People's Democratic Party, PDP, while Masur Manu belongs to the Allied People's Movement, APM. And Abdul Samad Dasuki represents the African Democratic Congress, ADC.
The letter reads as follows. They said, by virtue of Order 7, Rule 7 of the Standing Orders, 12th edition of the House of Representatives, Federal Republic of Nigeria, the minority members of the 10th Assembly hereby unanimously nominate the following members by consensus to fill the vacant positions of the minority in the Parliament. Number 1, Minority Leader, Right Honorable Frederick Y. Abedi, PhD.
The Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TET Fund, has approved 7.5 billion naira in research grants for 174 projects across Nigerian universities and polytechnics under its 2025 National Research Fund intervention. The fund says the investment is aimed at driving innovation, economic growth, and practical solutions to national challenges through research and development. Global TV's Priscilla Obasi tells us more.
At a media briefing at the TET Fund headquarters in Abuja, The Executive Secretary of the Fund, Sonny Echono, unveiled the successful beneficiaries of the 2025 National Research Fund grant cycle. Echono said the grants followed a rigorous selection process involving concept note submission, proposal evaluation, and oral defense session by shortlisted researchers. He added that the research areas include health and social welfare, agriculture and food security, science and engineering, power and energy, education, national security, innovation, technology, and the blue economy. He explained that the fund's renewed emphasis on research aligns with the federal government's drive to build a knowledge-based economy capable of creating jobs, boosting innovation, and reducing dependence on imported solutions.
The competitive selection process for the grant involves the submission and evaluation of concept notes. The fund seizes this opportunity to congratulate the institutions and the research teams that were successful after such a rigorous and competitive selection process.
Emerging as a top-performing institution was the Federal University of Technology, Minna, with 18 successful research grants, followed by the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, with 11, while Bayero University, Kano, secured 10 grants. Echono noted that several state-owned institutions and polytechnics also recorded successes, reflecting growing research capacity across the country's tertiary education sector. A total of 174 research projects were approved, with grants ranging from about 13.6 million naira to nearly 50 million naira per project. The fund also disclosed that preparations for the 2026 National Research Fund grant cycle will begin soon, encouraging researchers across the country to participate in the competitive process. Priscilla Obasi, Global Television News.
Nigeria commemorates Democracy Day. Citizens are taking stock of the nation's democratic experience, applauding areas of progress while demanding greater dividend of democracy and improved governance. Amarachi Ibe tells us more.
"33 years after the historic June 12 presidential election, regarded as a watershed in Nigeria's democratic struggle, many Nigerians says the journey of democratic governance has recorded notable milestones but remains a work in progress. In Owerri, the Imo State capital, some residents says democracy has strengthened civic participation and sustained constitutional rule. They, however, called government at all levels to intensify efforts in tackling economic hardship, unemployment, and insecurity to improve the welfare of citizens.
Well, I thank God for the democracy that is being practiced now. I thank God that at least it has survived for some years now. I pray God that it continues. However, my advice to the politicians who practice democracy in Nigeria is that they should remember Nigeria as the only country we have, and they should go it by the rules and ensure that things are done right.
Security-wise, they should do something about it. Well, this is where we are having problems now. You see, when you're talking about economy, talk about the kind of providing food for us, food security. Okay. These are the things we want, and we want peace altogether, and there'll be no more rigging. This rigging things is very, is very annoying. People who are supposed to be there are not there. You see.
Others argue that despite years of uninterrupted civilian rule, challenges such as electoral irregularities, corruption, and weak accountability continue to undermine public confidence in democratic institutions. They call for reforms that will deepen transparency and ensure that governance delivers tangible benefits to the people.
There's no democracy in Nigeria as far as I'm concerned until we see it working effectively. When an elected person will be elected by the people, when the person who won the election will be asked to take the seat that he won the election. That's when we think there's a democracy.
The challenges of democracy in Nigeria is corruption. Yes, if our leaders can manage corruption, if spending of our money, maybe there will be a check on them, on how they spend our money. They borrowed money to fix up the country, but the money ended in their private accounts.
As the nation celebrates Democracy Day, Nigerians remain hopeful that the idea of democracy will translate into better opportunities and improve welfare for all. From Owerri, I'm Marachi Ibe, Global TV News.
As Nigeria marks the day, the spirit of the Federal Capital Territory, as a harsh economic reality is confronting overshadowed of the occasion, while the day is dedicated to reflecting on Nigeria's democratic journey and honoring the sacrifices made to sustain democratic governance. Many Abuja residents were more preoccupied with the challenges of survival than commemorative activities. Zaral Nasser tells us more.
As Nigeria marks Democracy Day, residents of Abuja have expressed mixed feelings about the state of the nation. While some citizens commend the country's democratic progress and peaceful transfer of power over the years, many others see the realities of economic hardship, inflation, and insecurity continue to affect their daily lives. Across several districts of the nation's capital, business activities continued uninterrupted as residents went about their daily routines, grappling with rising living costs and economic uncertainty. Some residents who spoke with Global Television lamented the soaring prices of food items, increasing transportation fares, unemployment, and the steady erosion of purchasing power, saying these challenges have made Democracy Day celebrations difficult to embrace.
Nigeria government is failing us. All the promises they gave us, they are not fulfilling anyone. Rather, we are hearing bad news every day. What they are after is campaign. Next election, for the 4 years that they were there, nothing is good. They didn't make us happy.
Since our president, Mr. Tinubu, announced that the fuel subsidy is gone, that is the beginning of the problem of these administrations. You know, everything, the price of things and all that from there skyrocket, moving up and down, and today, transport fare, money doesn't have value again and nothing.
They maintain that after years of democratic governance, many Nigerians are yet to experience the expected dividends of democracy, or the leaders to focus more on policies that directly improve the welfare and living standards of citizens.
The rate of insecurity in the country is not something of today or yesterday. It has been there. God is supporting us. God has been leading us.
Others acknowledge that democracy remains the most acceptable system of government, but stress that its success should be measured by tangible improvements in the lives of the people through better security, economic opportunities, and access to essential services.
Because Nigerians desire this kind of government, democratic government, and we got it. And so we have stayed on it for 27 years, isn't it? Yes, it's worth celebrating because there has not been any kind of intervention.
As the nation commemorates another Democracy Day, residents are calling on leaders at all levels to move beyond promises and ensure that democratic governance delivers meaningful improvements in the quality of life of ordinary citizens. Zahra Unasr, Global TV News.
Human rights activist and African Action Congress presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore has called on the federal government to address the country's worsening insecurity, economic hardship, and governance challenges. The human rights activist made the call when he led a Democracy Day protest in Abuja. Obong Usoro tells us more.
We have lost our democratic way. And Nigerians are tired of this masquerade because of the Democrat led by
Action, we live in a country where the system has been totally broken and decimated, and we are just victims, helpless victims, waking up every day with uncertainty of what lies ahead of us. Children, teachers were kidnapped, spent 3 weeks, nothing has been done about them. We have ravaging poverty, security all around our communities. Farmers are sacked from their communities, languishing in IDP camps. We have our president who still borrowing funds, left, right, and center to mismanage.
You are watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. News Cycle continues after this weather forecast, plus business, foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us.
Welcome. Thursday morning was mostly calm across most parts of the country. However, our attention is shifted eastwards, where developing weather systems are expected to propagate westwards overnight into Friday morning to give prospects of morning thunderstorms in the north-central states, parts of Kaduna, with morning rains to the southern region of the country. By afternoon and evening hours, thunderstorms are expected to affect parts of Adamawa, Taraba, Bauchi, Gombe, Kaduna, Plateau, some north-central states, while low to moderate rainfall is expected to the southern region of the country. That's the forecast for Friday. I am Theodora Itzum. Thank you for watching.
You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is News Cycle on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. In business now, President Nigeria's economy is showing strong signs of recovery, with key reforms restoring stability, attracting investment and driving growth in critical sectors. Kikelomo Okere has details.
In his 2026 Democracy Day address, President Tinubu says the economic reforms introduced since 2023 have strengthened the nation's economic foundation, restore investors' confidence, and significantly increase revenues accruing to the Federation. The president disclosed that non-oil exports grew by 21% in the last year, describing the development as evidence of administration commitment to economic diversification and sustainable growth.
Yet, many Nigerians still face economic hardship. We remain focused on reducing inflation, expanding food production, creating jobs, improving living standards, rebuilding confidence in our economy, and creating conditions for sustainable prosperity. We are moving from uncertainty to stability.
Tinubu also highlighted progress in the energy sector, pointing to increased domestic refining capacity, the implementation of the new Electricity Act, and the approval of 4 trillion naira bond to settle verified legacy debt in the power sector. He added that ongoing off-grid power projects supported by World Bank and Africa Development Bank are expanding electricity access and stimulating economic activities across the country.
Besetting the sector, I signed the Electricity Act, which grants state authority to generate, transmit, and distribute power. The Presidential Power Sector Task Force is working hard to reduce the metering deficit. It has also been authorized to raise 4 trillion bond to settle verified legacy debts.
Speaking on education and manpower development, the president announced the revitalization of the Institute of Petroleum Studies in Kaduna, now upgraded as the General Shehu Musa Yaradua University of Geological Science and Engineering Technology. He says the institution is expected to strengthen Nigerians' capacity in geological science, engineering, and technology, while supporting the nation's drive for industrialization and economic transformation. Kikelomo Okere, Global TV News.
Index now, Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni says the country's Ebola outbreak is showing signs of decline after health authorities recorded no new infections in recent days. He made the remark during a national address as officials continue efforts to contain the disease. In sports news now, Mexico opened the 2026 FIFA World Cup with a commanding 2-0 victory over South Africa, delighting a crowd of 80,824 spectators and setting the tone for a tournament jointly hosted by the United States, Mexico and Canada. Playing in the first match of football's biggest spectacle, E-Trial combined early attack intent with disciplined defending to secure all 3 points with goals from Julian Quinones and Raul Jimenez, sealing a memorable start to their champion. The hosts wasted little time asserting themselves after kickoff possession and pushing South Africa into the back foot. And that's it on News Cycle. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276 and Free TV. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @Global TV NG. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Happy democracy.